Hey bosses, welcome back to my channel. So if y'all can't tell by the title, today we are doing an updated Q&A plus seller's permit tutorial. So in today's video, I'm kind of going to be answering some of my most common questions from this video that I uploaded about a year ago. And then after that, we're going to go through the process together. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually fill in the questions. Of course, it's going to be different state by state, but hopefully it gives you guys a little bit of a guideline on how to do that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in and let's get this seller's permit. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. So what I basically did is I took all the most popular questions from that video and made it into a document, and then added a couple other ones that I felt like could be useful. So let's go ahead and start out by answering what is a seller's permit and what does it do. It's basically a document that businesses get to buy wholesale inventory and then collect those taxes later on your store. Now you might be wondering, I don't want to collect taxes. Why would I need it? Why would I want to collect taxes? But the thing is, if you are not the one to collect those taxes and then report them, that means the vendor is going to have to do that. By the way, guys, if you don't know, I used to own a boutique. So if you don't own a boutique, this might not apply to you. But basically all the top dog vendors, they usually require a seller's permit because they don't want to pay that tax at the end of the year. So once you get it, you pretty much buy the inventory without the taxes, and then you take those taxes, report them, and pay them to the state at the end of the year. If I'm not mistaken, you can only collect taxes from the state that you have a permit in. So taxes, if I'm just being honest, are really not my thing. They get really complicated based on states, and there's a lot of like exceptions, different percentages for each county and all that. So as far as taxes, I would recommend that you guys go and consult with a CPA professional, because I'm not the person that would help you the best out with that. So next question is, how do you get it and where do you get it? And the most common place is going to be whoever handles the taxes either in your state or your county. I know in Florida it's the Department of Revenue, in California it's the Tax and Fee Administration, and then I think in New York it's whoever handles their tax department. So it kind of depends on which state you live in, and if you guys can't find this online and you don't know, just ask me below and I can help you find that. But otherwise, you can type something in like seller's permit for my state or something like that. There's a lot of different things that they can be called, and sometimes those things can have different roles and they can have different permissions, so you might want to double check that in your state. But pretty much it's going to be whoever handles your taxes, and they basically all serve the same purpose. Now the other question I got the most often is, do you need an LLC? And the answer is no. And it's not only an LLC, you actually don't need any entity to get your seller's permit. You can do this completely by starting out as a sole proprietor. So what you basically do, and you guys will see this in the application, is you would put in your social security number, and then you put your name and then your DBA, which is your fictitious name for your business. So again, I'm going to be kind of getting into that in the video and showing you guys how to do that, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that later. Now, is it free? So again, this is one of the questions, and this is actually a mistake I made in this video, so I apologize for that in advance. I actually thought it was free in all states, because when I had it in California and when I had it in Florida, it was. But when I looked it up, I actually saw that some of the states do charge a fee. I saw one that charged like 15 bucks. I saw one that charged 100 bucks. So it kind of just depends what state you live in. And again, I will be attaching this down below in the comments. There's going to be a list of all the states and the fees that they charge. So it really depends, but for the most part, I think like 80% of the states, 90% of the states, the seller's permit is free. So that is that. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the last two questions before we get into the tutorial. And a lot of people have been asking, if they make any money, do they have to report their sales tax? And the answer is yes. So just so you guys know, the seller's permit is not something you can get to be cute or just buy from vendors. There's actual responsibility that comes with that. And I actually didn't know that when I first started out. So if you guys want to hear my story and how I almost went to jail, y'all can watch this video right up here, where I can give you guys a quick little story time right now. So basically, even if you're making no sales, you do have to report it, because if you don't, the department that's handling your seller's permit, they're going to use a formula to calculate the estimated amount of money that you owe. And you do not want that to happen, because for the first year or so of my business, I really didn't make any sales since I closed it down for a year. But I didn't know that I had to have the responsibility of still reporting my sales tax, even though I wasn't making sales. So what basically happened was I got a letter at the end of the year, and they used some type of formula where apparently I owed them $20,000 in taxes. And you guys can imagine, when I saw this, I literally almost had a heart attack. But thankfully I called them, we resolved it, and everything was good. So yes, you still have to report your taxes. Also make sure that you check how often you have to report them in your state, because my very first seller's permit was in California, and when I got to Florida, I didn't know that we were supposed to file quarterly. So you want to go ahead and make sure so you guys don't run into that issue. And yeah, the other question is, why can't I find a seller's permit for my state? So I'm just gonna kind of go through this one quickly so we can just jump right into the tutorial. The seller's permit, it can be called a lot of different things. So if you're looking up, let's say for example, a seller's permit for the state of Oregon, it might be under a whole different name. And I know in Oregon, they actually don't have an application. They just have some kind of form that you fill out and then you give it to the vendor saying basically, hey, I'm authorized as a business to buy your inventory free of tax, and I will report it at the end of the year. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial, and I'm going to show you guys how to fill out these questions. So I'm just going to make a quick little disclaimer before we start. I'm going to be doing this on the California government website because for me, it is the easiest to use and it's way more simple and straightforward than the Florida website. So I've had seller's permits in both of these states, so I'm going to just be speaking on California and their process, but it should be pretty similar along the way. And then keep in mind that I am answering these questions for a boutique, so if you have any other type of business, this process might be just slightly different for you, but you can go ahead and watch and see how I answer them and see if that helps you out. So what you're going to do when you get to this page is you're going to go down here and click on register for a permit. Now, what you can do here is I would recommend that you first get a logon and then register your new business activity. But if you want to, you can just go straight to the first step. I already have an account, so I'm actually going to just go ahead and log in and show you guys a new application from there. And once you get your online account, you're going to click on register a new business activity. So when they're asking you what your business activity includes, just be truthful to what you're actually going to be doing and make sure you're putting down every business activity that you're planning to do here. So I'm going to put down selling items or goods in California just in case, because you never know when you're gonna have an order there. For the rest of the questions, I'm kind of gonna skip them because I know that they don't apply to me, but please read these and make sure that they don't apply to you before you skip them. So for the employing 10 or more people, you can check it off just in case that does happen, or you could put no if you are positive you're not gonna be hiring anybody. As far as that, that's really all the questions you'd have to answer if you have something like a clothing store. So all these questions here, alcoholic beverages, cannabis, cigarettes, all that, you can just go ahead and click no. For this, I'm going to be putting no because I personally don't plan to be hiring anybody in California. If I did hire any employees, I would definitely outsource them because it's better for my business budget. So go ahead and click next, but make sure you're answering that question according to how you're going to be running your business. And did you start your business prior to January 1st, 2022? Depends on you. I did, so I'm going to be clicking yes, but you might have to click no. And then I'll be clicking no for this as well. And then this question, you may or may not get it. I might just be getting it because I already had an account with them. And then the business activity that you guys are registering for. So this is important. This is where you guys need to know what kind of business entity you have. If you're running a business and you don't have it registered as anything like an LLC or a partnership or a corporation, then you are going to be considered a sole proprietor. And then here you can just select your identification type. I'm going to be doing my SSN because that's the easiest. FEIN, SEIN, I left that empty. I was hearing some people were forced to answer this, so I don't know if that's because they may have put down a driver's license or a different kind of business formation, but for me, I was able to leave this empty and nothing happened from there. So the second type of identification, I'm going to be doing my driver's license. And then are you changing from one type of business entity to another? I'm going to be picking no. And then just confirm your info is correct. And then when you get to this part, it's already going to know what you need to register for. So right here, it's straight up telling me that you probably need to register for a seller's permit. So I'm gonna click yes, and I'm going to be moving forward with that. And then temporary seller's permit. So this question is actually new. I don't think I had this before when I was applying, but I am going to be picking no because I'm assuming you probably want your business for the long run. So just go ahead and click on no. And will the business be accepting credit card payments? Yes, they will. You probably will. And are you making internet sales? I personally am. And am I making them through a third party? I'm going to be saying yes because the third party is going to be Shopify for me. So merchant card processor name and processor account. This question confused me as well as a lot of you guys. What a merchant card processor is basically just whatever you use to accept credit card payments for your online business. And usually this requires setting up a business checkings account, which I actually have a video on here if you guys do need help setting one up. But I personally use Noble for my business checkings account. But if you use PayPal, that's going to be your card processor name. If you use Stripe, that's going to be your card processor name. Chase Bank, PayPal, those are all examples of merchant card processors. So I'm going to be putting Novo here. And then the merchant card processor account, what I did last time is I put business checkings, and that went ahead and went through. So now what you're going to need is you're going to need to provide your business website. Now I had a lot of people freaking out about this, but stay calm because I got you, and I'm gonna let you guys know that if you're not committed and you are not ready to buy a website yet, you can get a free website through a company called Weebly, and I'm going to put this video right up here that kind of shows you guys how to do that. So make sure you watch that video after this one so you can get your website to put into the seller's permit. So I'm gonna just put a website that I own currently, which is baddieallnight.com. And then the third party website, you will put in the name of the third party. For me, it would be Shopify. For you, if it's Wix, if it's Weebly, wherever you're going to be hosting your website on, you can just put that there. So I'm going to be doing shopify.com. What it's going to ask for next is an NAICS code. And basically what that is it puts your business into a certain class or category so they can know exactly what type of business you are wanting to run. So if you don't know what your code is, you can look it up here and find out exactly what your code is. Since I'm selling women's clothing, I think this one will be the most appropriate for my business. So 45811, that can be your code if you're selling online clothing. Otherwise, you can search whatever you want. So if it's going to be auto, you can search that and see what comes up for that. If it's going to be cleaning supplies, then you can search that as well and see what comes up. But because I found my code already, I'm going to be using this one right here. So let's go ahead and type it in. So we're going to go click on next. And then make sure you're reading this next part here super carefully and answering yes or no based on your situation. Because this first point already probably applies to me and a bunch of other people, I'm going to be clicking yes because at some point there most likely will be a customer in California that plans to purchase from me. And just to clear it up in this video in case anyone's confused, I currently live in Florida. I actually never even lived in California, but what I had is a business nexus initially because I didn't know that you were supposed to pick a virtual address that was closest to your house. So again, I recommend watching this video here if you need help picking a virtual address because a lot of people will just tell you where to get it but not how to get it. So I highly recommend that you watch that to avoid some common mistakes. I'm going to be clicking yes, but again, read this carefully and select it based off your situation. So these again don't apply to us. You can click no. Do you have retail locations in California? I don't. I'm gonna be picking no. Are you registering since your business has economic nexus in California? So my very first time doing this permit, I clicked yes because again, like I just said, I did have a nexus in California, but I didn't conduct my business there. You most likely, if you live in California, you will probably be selecting yes, so I'm going to be doing that. So this is the start date of when you're trying to get your seller's permit. Projected monthly sales. When I was new, I was shooting for the stars, so I put 5,000. And then, do you anticipate $0? Nope. Projected monthly taxable sales, I don't know, I just put 100 for this. Do you anticipate $0? I'm gonna put no, just in case. And then products that'll be sold during the course of your business. So just put down exactly what you sell. I'm going to be putting women's clothing, including tops, bottoms, skirts, dresses, club wear, and sets. So that is basically everything that I was selling on my website. So just fill that out according to you. Go ahead and click on next, and then here you're going to need to put a books and records address for your account as well as a mailing address. So I recommend that this be your business mailing address that I teach you how to make in the video that I linked. And the address that I actually show you guys how to get, you can physically go there and pick up any kind of mail that you receive or any kinds of packages for your business. So I would recommend to put that. If you don't have one or if you don't want to get one right now, you can't put your personal address because this information is not public. So any address that you're going to be checking frequently, that you're going to be picking up mail at, you can put right here. So because I'm organized and I like to kind of keep things separately, I put my business address, but that's going to be up to you, and feel free to put your personal one down. And then once you do that, you need to click to verify that, because if you don't, it will not let you proceed. So once you verify it, it'll also show you the verified version of your address. So double check it. I think this one should do, and that should be okay. So once it's verified, go ahead and click OK, and it'll also fill out the rest of the zip code for you. If you guys are starting out, you probably don't have this information on hand and don't know, but thanks to me, I'm going to be hooking you up in this video and showing you how to get around this part. A very popular clothing vendor here in the USA is TikTok LA. So what you can literally do is you can go on Google and type in TikTok LA wholesale, and we're basically going to take all this information and type it into there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fill fill that in real quick, and you're gonna click on add a record and just put in all their information. And then when you guys do this, again, don't forget to verify the address, because for some reason it makes you do it every time. Click save and then go ahead and click add. So we're going to be moving on next, and then here you're going to be putting your government name, you're going to be putting the information, and then here is where they're going to tell you how often you're going to be reporting your taxes. So pay attention to that, because I definitely didn't pay attention to this in Florida, and I accidentally was filing them annually, and I pretty much got hit with a bunch of penalties. So if you're in Cali, you probably will be doing it annually, but just double check, and if you're not sure, just call your tax department. So just go ahead and acknowledge everything. Check this checkbox here when you're done. Click next, and you guys are done. You should be able to now get your seller's permit. You might be wondering now how long it's going to take for you to get it, and it really depends. Usually you should be able to get it within 2 to 3 days. In some cases, let's say they need more information about you or you live in a different state, it might take up to 10 days. So just be patient. That is pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any questions, please ask them down below and I'll be more than happy to help you out. If you do not believe me, watch this video that I made before and look in the comments. I literally have helped every single person out, even if I didn't know the answer to the question. So feel free to ask questions below. There is no such thing as a dumb question. So that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want more business videos, business talk, and all that, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel and share this video to your friends to help them out. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!